Hi, it's Rabbi Lewis wishing you an early Shabbat Shalom. And if you have studied with me for pretty much any period of time, you have probably heard me use an expression where I make up a large number and I will say something like, oh, that's reason 7,942 why I am proud to be a Reformed Jew. Now, of course, that's somewhat facetious. Not facetious in that I am proud of being Reformed, but it's facetious in that I don't really have a list that goes that high. But that hyperbole reinforces the point of my pride in being Reformed and how I live my life as a Jewish person. And of course, I have a long list, things like people being able to make informed choices about their ritual, that it's based on Enlightenment philosophy and rationalism, that we truly are egalitarian, that we embrace the LGBTQ plus community, and we truly believe that the Torah leads to social justice, and our social justice is part of actually living the words of Torah and bringing them into our day-to-day lives. Lots of reasons to be proud of being Reformed. I will say that not the Torah portion itself this week, but the way that we address the Torah portion or approach it is sort of an example of how we can be proud of being Reformed in the way that we think about it. This week we study Parashat Naso for the second time. And the reason we do that has everything to do with how we approach Judaism from a Reformed perspective. In many parts of the world, the Jewish community in the diaspora will have studied a special Torah portion last week for Shavuot, the second day of Shavuot, which was on Shabbat. And when those two things coincide, you don't read the next Torah portion, you read a special section of Torah that's just for the holiday. Some years ago, we decided in Reform that we weren't going to do a second day of these holidays. And why? Well, the reason for the second day was based on the idea that people weren't sure what day it was, and just in case you got the wrong day, for the holiday to start, you would do a second day to make sure that you covered your bases. Somewhere in 48 hours, you would have had that right observance. Well, science, technology, just the ability to calendar, we've been able to determine pretty much we're observing holidays on the right day, so we didn't feel the need to have a second day, and therefore we don't. And so we have a clash in some ways with the tradition and science, and we kind of found a middle path. So instead of having a complete break from the tradition, we did what would have been the next Torah portion last week, and looking at Parashat Naso, it's very long. They decided, well, this is one that we could just cut in half, and 1 week we'll do Naso, the first part, and the next week we'll do the second part of Naso. So that way we'll actually be back in line with the rest of diaspora Judaism, but we can also hold to that idea that we understand the calendar and we don't feel that there's a need to have a second day. Now, some people will say, oh, you're just being willy-nilly, you're making choices to go against tradition. It's not true. The choice, the decision, it was all based on rationalism, science, thought, using the information that we have to make choices about our observance that make sense so that there is a connection between our knowledge and our tradition. And if that means that we break away on certain things, then we do so. We don't have to apologize or ask for permission because these decisions are made with the greatest gift that God gave us, our intellects. So as we approach Parashat Naso for the second week in a row, we'll do so proudly, knowing that the decision to do it this way is based on the same types of logic that led us to make so many of those great decisions that have been the cornerstone of Reform Judaism. Egalitarianism, equality, social justice, tikkun olam, and everything that motivates us to truly live Torah in our lives. Shabbat Shalom.